Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good to see you all again. That's nice to know. Get some feedback. Right, for those of you who've known us before, you're familiar with it. It's lovely to be with you this morning. Lovely to share with you again. It's always a really nice atmosphere in here. You know, you go to certain churches and it's just really welcoming, really warm, really friendly, and I really feel that here. It's good to be back with you again. It seems to be too that whenever I come here I get a sore throat. So excuse the coughing. I've got my water here, so hopefully it'll be alright. Trust in the Lord for clarity. We're going to read through Psalm 139. It's a reasonably well-known psalm. It hopefully will be up on the screen. Yes? Right. Right. O Lord, you have searched me and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue and know it completely, O Lord. You hem me in, behind and before. You have laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me, your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, O God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. If only you would slay the wicked, O God. Away from me, you bloodthirsty men. They speak of you with evil intent. Your adversaries misuse your name. Do I not hate those who hate you, O Lord, and abhor those who rise up against you? I have nothing but hatred for them. I count them my enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, this is your word. This is all about our relationship with you. Please open it up for us now through your Holy Spirit. Let us hear from you as we commit it to your name. Amen.
Amen.
Now, as you can see, I've brought a few of my friends along with me this morning. These are some guitars. You see guitars in all sorts of uses. They're used to create music of any and every style and genre and nature. The guitars within themselves are created by somebody to make that music. And the beauty of the guitar reflects on the quality of the maker. And they're created for certain purposes. It could be rock music, jazz music, blues, folk, country, classical, praise and worship, as we've had this morning. As many parts go up to make a guitar. The body can be made of all different kinds of wood. If I lift this one up here, there we go. It's a lovely piece there. Very different kinds of wood go up to make a body of a guitar, depending on what kind of tone you want to have from it. You can use maple, walnut, purple heart, wenge, whatever that is, Coca-Cola, birch, rosewood, which is what this is, ebony, all different kinds of wood, and especially shaped to achieve the maximum tone. This is a classical guitar. It's a little one. This one down here is an acoustic bass guitar. Very low down. This one is a 12-string guitar. Acoustic guitar. They have different sounds, they have different tones, and the wood that they use gives you a different tone. If you use a really hard piece of wood like maple or something, you get a very bright, shiny sort of tone. If you use something a little bit softer, like rosewood, you get a nice mellow, flowing kind of tone. All these different kind of tones, because the woods vibrate at different frequencies, so you get different and specific overtones of different kind of wood. So whatever sound you want, there is a guitar designed especially for that particular tone and sound, depending on the style of music that you want. And there's different kinds of guitar as far as acoustic guitars and electric guitars. The guitar I just had in my hand was an acoustic guitar. You can play it just as it is, you don't have to plug it into anything. And it's great for sitting around campfires or in your home, just playing around. These other guitars, they have electric pickups on them. And you plug them in, and you plug them into an amp like that, and you make an awful lot of noise. Whether it's a nice noise, depending on it, is how you play it. That's an electric guitar. And they come in all different shapes and sizes. Here, there's a little tiny one down here. That's an electric lead guitar. It makes a very big noise. I'm not going to plug it in, but it is actually a guitar. It's a tiny little guitar like that. So all different shapes and sizes. The neck, which is the great long thing here, you'd have thought would have to be straight and true and just, perfect. Right? No, it has a very slight curve in it to allow for the movement of the strings. It has a long rod of metal right down the middle that you tighten up to pull it into exactly the right shape. Very technical, isn't it? And the frets, these are little metal things across. This is where you make the notes. So, the note at one end will sound a bit different as you play it further up. Okay, so the little frets across there decide where the notes go. So the frets have to be absolutely perfect. They have to be exactly the right position. Otherwise it's not going to sound right. If you have them all over the place, all the notes will be wrong. So all the stuff we've been playing today is going to sound horrible, and more horrible. So it's got to be the right sort of thing. And because that's where your fingers go, on the fretboard here, it's got to be hard. It's got to be the right kind of material. And if you use ebony or something like that, it's really rock hard, and whatever you do, you can't wear it away. It's really useful like that. But it gives a very bright, hard tone. So if you want something a little bit softer, a little bit more mellow, a little bit more sort of jazzy or something like that, you'd use rosewood, which is a different one, which is what this one has. And that one as well, actually. So use different materials depending on what you want. And the frets themselves, they have to be exactly in line. They can't be twisted or dented. They've got to be just nice and smooth. And you actually get a fretstone and you stone them down so that they're perfectly level all the way down the neck. And the head at the end, the ones that have them, the head is an integral part of the neck, because on here it's got the tuners, and these affect the tuning of the guitar. And as you tighten them or slacken them, the note goes higher or lower. And so you have to get them in tune. So the head is an integral part. It takes all the strain and the pressure of the string at the top end of the guitar. And it tilts back slightly so to give the maximum pull of the string. And the tuners themselves, that one is up on the head, this one is right down at the bottom. The tuners themselves are solid brass or steel. Because again, you've got the string in there, you've got all the pull of the string. And so they have to be solid, they have to be secure, and they have to be precision made. Again, a slight twist of those will change the tuning of the whole instrument. And the bridge, the bit at the other end, is usually a solid lump of metal or wood or something along those lines, like this one. There's a great big lump of black metal stuck at the back there, because that's where the strings anchor into. It goes into there and they don't come out, preferably. And this holds it all together. It's a solid foundation for the strings. And the strings are specifically designed for individual guitars. You notice on these bass guitars, they're very thick and chunky, because they give a much deeper, bigger sound, whereas on the little classical, they're very tiny, very thin, very easily broken. So each guitar has a very different purpose or area of use. As I said before, you've got classical, you've got acoustic, you've got an electric guitar, you've got bass guitars, and they're designed with that purpose in mind. So the bigger, fuller bodied sounds will give a much fuller tone. The harder woods give a higher range of tones. Softer woods give a much warmer sort of tone. And each guitar is chosen and used for that particular style or type of music. If you're playing rock music, you wouldn't choose a classical guitar. It's just not going to sound right, for example. So it's very specific. It's quite a technical instrument. There's a lot of pieces that go together. It's got to be put together right because it's precision made. The notes have to be right, the frets have to be in the right place, the strings have to be the right kind of strings, and all that. So when the guitar maker is putting all that together, he takes all of that into consideration. I can see by the smile on Clive's face, he knows exactly where I'm going with this, but follow me, because what we're going to do now is relate that to us, and have a look at Psalm 139 at the same time. Verse 1 says, "O Lord, you have searched me and you know me." Now a guitar maker will bring together the very best woods and the very best materials and put them together in the best way. And every tiny little nick, every tiny little curve, every tiny little piece will fit together exactly right because it's precision made. And so God knows us intimately. There's no part of us that he's not familiar with. Our habits, our thoughts, our intentions, our wants, needs, desires, loves, hates, favourites, worsts, every hair on our head, he's placed it there exactly in the right place. He knows us. And it goes through. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts. You discern my going out, my lying down. You're familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you know it completely. You hem me in. There's nowhere I can go from you. Verse 6 says, "Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain." The awesome nature of God's creation. I don't know if any of you have been watching The Frozen Planet. If you're watching The Frozen Planet on TV, it's David Attenborough's all talking all about the Arctic and the Antarctic. Absolutely awesome. I mean, this is just a big lump of ice, you know, just covering over the top of the world and the bottom of the world. But it's 2 to 3 miles thick. 2 to 3 miles thick down to the floor. You need a very long ladder to get into the top of it. Most people use a helicopter. But it provides the fresh water in a very delicate balance into our oceans to keep the currents moving that gives us the warm air that we need. We were watching the movie Day After Tomorrow last night, which is when the balance goes wrong. And suddenly we're plunged into another ice age and there's great floods and all sorts of things like that. But God keeps it together, his creation in check, in perfect balance. And all the universe and the wonders of the galaxies and the stars and the planets and us. We are an integral part of this awesome creation. Verse 7, "Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence?"